Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you are doing well. Now in this video I'm going to be talking about how to properly lube and tune your stabilizers. But before we get too far into that, let me just say that this is the process that I use, so do feel free to modify it in any way to suit your preferences. And on top of that, I really would recommend that you experiment to see exactly what you like. With that being said, let me answer one of the very basic questions, why you would want to lube your stabilizers in the first place. So lubing your stabilizers is a great way to increase your overall board feel and really take it to that next level. Or if you've also gone ahead and purchased a board like this is the GMMK Pro, you'll notice that the stock stabilizers really leave a lot to be desired, and you want to go ahead and change those out. So let's get into this one and I'll show you exactly what you need. So the first thing is your stabilizers, of course, a small claw tool, a paintbrush. This is a size 0, although a size 00 would work just as well. And finally, your lubricant of choice. I'll be using Krytox 205 G0. Next, I'll show you how to disassemble your stabilizers. So first, hold one of the housings, grab the wire, and pull it straight forward. And then after that, you can just lift it up out of the stabilizer housing. And then after that, you just want to separate the two different pieces of the actual stabilizer housing. So just like that, and then a couple of different containers here just to separate all of the pieces. Then you can go ahead and repeat the same process on the other side of the stabilizer. Pull forward, lift the wire out, and then separate both parts of the housing once again. So let me give you a little bit of a closer view here. What we're going to be doing is applying some lubricant to the inside of this housing just to help with the friction as the stabilizer moves vertically. We are also going to be applying some lubricant to the stabilizer wires here, and that is going to help dissipate some of the friction in the horizontal direction as well. Go ahead and grab your brush and just a small dab into whatever lubricant you will be using. Nothing too generous here, as you can always go back for more should you need it. But the way you want to start off is just dab on the inside of the stabilizer housing. So there should be two sides and a top that you want to coat evenly. So start off with those small dabs, and then once that is complete, you just want to work everything around to an even coat. So you really want to take your time here, and you can always readjust the stabilizer housing in your hand to get the right angle that you need. And you just really want to work everything evenly on the inside. So once that's complete, it should look something like this. It takes the stabilizer housing from something transparent to looking more translucent and a little bit more opaque as well. I'll go ahead and compare the stock stabilizer housing and the lube stabilizer housing just for reference. So the stock one is on the left and the lubed one is on the right, but that is what they look like compared side to side. So once that's complete, we can go ahead and reassemble our stabilizer housings. Take the exterior side and put it in your left hand, and whichever part receives the screw should be facing the top of the screen. Next, take the interior piece with the two holes at the bottom, and you just want to go ahead and slide that in like so. Before we get into applying the lubricant to the wire, you just want to go ahead and grab that small claw tool and then attach it at the bend of the wire like that. Now if you are someone who has more nimble fingers than I do, this is not necessarily a required tool, but it is nice to have. And then go ahead and grab that paintbrush once more. And for the wires specifically, we can be a little bit more generous than we were with the stabilizer housings, but the same technique is still going to apply. you're just going to want to dab the lubricant onto the wires. So something like that, just work the coat evenly. That is going to be a theme across stabilizer lubrication. And then go up past the bend of the wire where the stabilizer housing is going to make contact. And then the way that you'll know that you've lubricated the wires correctly is it should be an opaque coat. So once you're done, basically, you just won't see any of the wire underneath. And it's also very important to check your work as you go, just to make sure that everything is done as it should be. And then once that's done, you should be left with something that looks like this. Once you're done lubricating one side of the wire, you can go ahead and reattach the stabilizer housing. So the inverse procedure is going to apply here. Start by dropping the stabilizer wire straight down into the housing, and then you can rotate it into place until you hear an audible click from the stabilizer housing and the stabilizer wire. And then just give it a double check to make sure that everything is in place. And then you can repeat the same steps to assemble the other side of the stabilizer housing. Now it's important to note that they are mirrored, so just make sure that the clips are facing the right direction on the bend of each wire. Next comes the fun part where we can actually put our lubricated stabilizers into the PCB. So just make sure the clip side and the hardware side is facing the right direction. And then you can secure them with whatever hardware your stabilizers come with. So pretty straightforward here, just make sure that you fully tighten them with a screwdriver. So once all our stabilizers are in and everything is secured in place with whatever hardware we're using, I'll just flip this one and show you guys what it looks like from the back. This is the way that I like to test my stabilizers. So go ahead and reinstall your plate. Put a switch at each corner to hold the plate in evenly. Then you can populate each stabilizer location with a switch. And then finally, you're just going to want to put on a keycap on each of the stabilizers. Whichever set that you're using for the final product would be preferable, just so you can get a true feel of what it will be like when everything is reassembled. You just want to go around the keyboard and test each stabilizer to make sure that it is functioning correctly. So guys, before I leave you with a sound test of how this board turned out, if you should have any questions, please do feel free to ask them in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. And now, let's get into the sound test.